So I wanted to play a self-cast arc and a very fast one. My goal was just to farm maps very fast and not worry about the end game. Because as you know, arc has pretty bad single target damage potential, but clear speed is pretty decent. Actually, clear speed is very decent with this build. But this is not a cheap build. This is the end of the Abyss League. There isn't much else that I want to accomplish in this league, just to farm couple more maps to get couple more challenges done. Also, in 2 weeks this build is gonna be outdated, so I'm not gonna do like a very detailed build guide video. And I don't really have much to show, just some map clearing and just talk about items that I'm using passive skill tree, and that's all. As always, timestamps will be in video description. Oh, and one more thing, I'm not gonna comment about Bestiary League just yet. Probably gonna do a separate video about that and talk why in my opinion this league could be very good for PoE in the long term, even if you personally don't find this league very interesting. But in case you want to see my first impression about this league, I have a link in video description. Right, back to Arc, let's talk about this build. This is a Trickster, because Trickster has the most cast speed from all Ascendancy classes, along with decent attack speed. And as I said, I wanted a very fast cast speed build. Initially I wanted to use Apex Rage runs, but I found a better solution. Usually a lot of cast speed means a lot of mana spent. So to counter that, I am going mind over matter, which works well with Trickster. But instead of focusing on getting a lot of mana regen, I am getting mana leech. And I get mana leech with Watcher's Eye. If you are affected by Wrath, you get mana leech from your lightning damage. But Wrath does reserve quite a lot of mana, and you do need mana for your mind over matter. So to counter that, I am using Essence Worm Ring. Next, to get Life Leech, I am using Berek's Grip Ring, which is usually expensive because it is league specific item. So Berek's Grip and that Watcher's Eye costed like 2 exalts each. Berek's Grip Ring gives you flat lightning damage to spells and attacks, a bit of life, a bit of resistances, and 1% of damage leech as life against shocked enemies. So you have both life and mana leech almost all the time, and that's great for mind over matter build. Next, I am using 6-link Impulsa's Broken Heart. So as you can see, this is already very expensive build. Impulsa's Broken Heart does help with clear speed quite a lot, and also once you shock enemy, you do get a damage boost. Also, you are unaffected by shocks, and it gives increased effect of shock, which works like stun threshold for stun, and shock effect lowers the required damage in order for you to shock for greater amount of shock effect. In short, it just makes easier to shock bosses. Next, I am using Impresence Amulet, lightning version obviously. It gives lightning damage to spells and attacks, quite a lot of life, lightning resistance, and it reduces conductivity mana reservation by 100%. Also, it gives a weird looking aura around you once you kill a rare or unique enemy for 10 seconds. And that weird looking aura is basically a very mini and feeble plus temp chain. Also, here's the important thing, Impresence and Essence Worms don't really like each other. Because of Essence Worm, you will still reserve some of your mana with Blasphemy and Conductivity. But that's fine, since I don't use any other auras or mana reservation things, I don't even use Clarity. So I do have enough unreserved mana to fully benefit from mind over matter. And well, this build is not tanky at all because I have basically no mitigation, and combined effective life pool is just below 6000. But as with all builds, you can improve it by getting just better items. But personally, I don't care about that. I did not make this build for endgame, just to try it out and be done with it. My remaining items are mostly just to cover resistances and more extra life. However, I did buy this helmet and of course crafted life, so my helmet does give me damage as well as life and resistances. And finally, for my weapons. Initially I wanted to use Lightning Warp, but later on I decided to maybe go with dual daggers, so I can use Whirling Blade, which I can link with Fortify to give me a bit more mitigation. However, to compete with Apex Rage 1 cast speed, I had to craft daggers with Essence. Essence for cast speed, and then there is an option to go with either Elder daggers or Shaper daggers. Both have cool stuff, so since I'm Libra, I could not decide and went with one Elder and one Shaper dagger. And here's what I end up with. I did not try too hard to get better stuff, just used whatever I could, but you can definitely get way better daggers. Oh look, I even crafted lightning resistance on my dagger. Lol. No one does that. But yeah, this build kind of has some issues with resistances because I do use quite a lot of uniques. As for flasks, since I don't have enough of lightning resistance, I had to use Atziri's Promise and Overflowing Chalice. Wise Oak Flask would be really nice. And you could probably squeeze in Onslaught Flask, but I do like having 2 life flasks. And that's all about items, let's talk about skills. So, main setup, Arc is linked with Lightning Penetration, added lightning damage, Arcane Surge, haha, Spell Echo and Control Destruction. And yes, Arcane Surge does give the most damage of all the other support gems that I could use instead. Then, Lightning Golem because more cast speed and attack speed, Wrath inside the ring, Conductivity plus Blasphemy plus increased AoE inside my weapon, Whirling Blades fortify faster attacks inside other weapon, level 1 casting damage taken with Immortal Call level 3, and also I do have Lightning Warp just in case I need to leap over the cliffs. And then I was experimenting with Vaal Storm Call. I do have it linked with Culling Strike, added lightning damage and increased duration. It doesn't give all that much, but I don't know, for fun. For more defensive mechanic you could probably use Vaal Grace or maybe Vaal Haste for more speed. And that's all about skills, let's talk passive skill tree. So Trickster, first I got Weave the Arcane, then I got Mind over Matter, then got Swift Killer just to help with clear speed, and only then I got Walk the Eater, just because I did not start using dual daggers until I finished Merciless Lab. And here's the rest of my passive skill tree. As you can see, I got a lot of cast speed, life, Mind over Matter, Elemental Overload, more cast speed, lightning damage, dual sockets, more life, and yes, this is non-crit because Arc has kind of bad base crit chance, only 5%, and with all the buffs and flasks, I currently have about 150,000 DPS, that is against non-boss enemies and non-shocked enemies. If I drop charges and select standard bosses against non-shocked bosses, the DPS is 92,000, which is still pretty good for Arc, and that is with level 18 Arc. So I guess that's about all. As for my next build, I do want to try Magma Orb with Poison, non-crit, so expect an Eye Cancer build, but poisonous Eye Cancer build. It's gonna be using Fire to Chaos conversion and most likely gonna be CI with about 6000 ES, we'll see. And that's about all. Thank you for watching and see you soon.